Thank you, Dan. Good evening once again. A sellout crowd here at the City Ground for one of English football's oldest rivalries. But the modern day reality is two famous old names are currently struggling to make the playoffs. Frank Lampard having his first difficult spell as Derby manager, and Martin O'Neill is searching for early consistency in charge of Forest. And of course, he knows how big a game this is and how big Forest could eventually be. A reminder of the two teams once again. No Lewis Grabban up front for Forest. He is injured. Ben Watson comes back in after playing 4 games on the trot. He was rested for the match at Preston, which was drawn. So it's Kostel Pantilimon in goal, Tendai Darikwa, Johan Belayuan, Alex Milosevic and Jack Robinson the back four. Ben Watson, Ryan Yates and Jack Colback in midfield, with Joe Lolly and Ben Osborne in the wide areas and Daryl Murphy up front. For Derby, one change for them as well. Craig Bryson is injured, so Andy King comes into the starting 11 on loan from Leicester City, of course. It is Keller Rose in goal. Scott Carson is fit again, but only on the bench. Jayden Bogle, Richard Keogh and Fikeo Tomori are 3 central defenders. Dwayne Holmes and Ashley Cole are the wing backs. Andy King, Tom Huddleston and Harry Wilson in midfield, with Martin Waghorn and Jack Marriott in attack. The 2 benches for Forest: Luke Steele the goalkeeper, Adlan Guediora, João Carvalho, Molawege, Diego Gonçalves, Pele and Leo Bonatini. For Derby, Scott Carson, Andre Wisdom, Florian Josef Zoon, Bradley Johnson, Mason Bennett, David Nugent and Scott Malone. It is a mild, still evening here on the banks of the River Trent, and the Trent end away to our left hand side has a number of huge banners unfurled, and central to those and uppermost in everybody's thoughts before this game is Brian Clough, a man who won the title with both Nottingham Forest and Derby County, of course, back-to-back European Cups with Forest as well. One of his acolytes, Martin O'Neill, now in charge of the club, but although he inherited Forest in a very similar situation to the one that Brian Clough did, the game has now changed so much, and it's a big job to get this club back into the top flight. It's a big job to get them into the top 6.
Yeah, absolutely, Nigel. Yeah, the game has changed so much now. It makes it that much more difficult for clubs of this size and stature to make it to the Premier League in the first place, and then to go and succeed at the highest level. But, and the big fat but here is, Leicester City did it, and Leicester City achieved the greatest story, I think, in the history of English football by winning the Premier League title. It gave clubs like this the right to dream that one day it might be their stage again.
Well, there is no doubt that both clubs have the trappings of the top flight, off the field at least. An outstanding atmosphere inside the City Ground at the start of this game. A big night for Robert Jones, the referee, as well. He's become a derby specialist in the Championship this season. He's already done the second City derby between Aston Villa and Birmingham, and the East Anglian derby between Ipswich and Norwich, as Derby, in their white shirts and black shorts, gather for their pre-match huddle away to our right-hand side. Nottingham Forest in their red shirts, white shorts and red socks. It is one of the big occasions in the EFL Championship season, and it's live for you on the home of the EFL, TalkSport 2, Nottingham Forest against Derby County. Two teams who've known what it's like to be the best, but now just hoping to be giving themselves a chance of returning to the Premier League maybe next season after a long time, as Forest look to break on this near side. It was Lolly looking to move forward down the right, but it's cleared away by another youngster, Bogle, and it will be a throw-in for Forest, who are attacking away from the Trent end from left to right in the first half. Darikwa with the throw-in into the feet of Lolly, and now it's gathered on this near side, and the free kick has been given for a challenge on Ryan Yates, a youngster who has been given his opportunity in the first team by Martin O'Neill and has really thrived so far.
Yeah, he's grabbed it with both hands, hasn't he? And I think the supporters that are making such a racket around us, what an atmosphere here at the City Ground. The supporters love to see players coming through the academy, and this boy's been at the club since he was 8 years old, so this match will mean more to him probably than most of the guys down there on the pitch.
Lolly is over the free kick along with Ben Watson. Frank Lampard already out on the edge of his technical area. Harry Wilson is the one-man wall for Derby. Lolly clips it high towards the far post. Huddleston heads it up in the air into the 6-yard area. It's headed across the face of goal, and it's turned in, and it's Johan Bellelouan who got the final touch. Daryl Murphy with a mastery of the skies inside the penalty area, and it's the Frenchman who turns in his first goal for Nottingham Forest in the biggest match of the season for them. Forest 1, Derby 0 with less than 90 seconds played.
Incredible start for Nottingham Forest. It's an absolute mess from Derby County's perspective. They did not defend the wide free kick. Huddleston's header went straight into the air. Daryl Murphy got his head on it, just looped it towards the far post. The quickest to react was the centre half, Bellelouan, and he just taps it into the empty net. Lift off here at the City Ground.
Wow. Johan Bellelouan on loan from Leicester City with the opening goal for Nottingham Forest against Derby County. It is truly an East Midlands goal, and from the moment Huddleston gently bobbed that header up into the air, his team were under pressure.
In all sorts of bother, weren't they? The goalkeeper wasn't particularly dominant, but I think Huddleston has to do better from the header. It's a really poor one, just looped into the air. But let's credit Murphy. Not only did he react to it quickly, he steered his header towards a fellow red shirt, and Bellelouan, he was on the stretch. It wasn't the simplest of finishes. He was on the stretch, but he guided it low into the bottom corner. He was only a couple of yards out, and wow, this is a test of character for these Derby players now. Interesting from a tactical point of view. It isn't a back three from Frank Lampard. It's a reversion to the traditional back four of Ashley Cole playing as an orthodox left back, and Bogle on the other side in his favourite position too.
Here is Keogh looking to bring the ball forward now for Derby, and the Forest fans all around us in such great voice here. They lead by a goal to nil with 3 minutes played on TalkSport 2. If you were looking for the commentary on the third one-day international from Grenada, that has been washed out due to rain earlier on today, and there will be commentary ball by ball live and exclusive to TalkSport 2 of the fourth one-day international on Wednesday, weather permitting. Tomorrow night on TalkSport 2 there is more championship action. A big game now at both ends with Queen's Park Rangers on the slide. They're at home to Leeds. On Wednesday, Salford against St Helens. That's rather on Thursday in Super League. And on Friday we're back in the Championship, albeit Ellen Road, for Leeds United against West Bromwich Albion. But here, Forest leading by a goal to nil. The top of the table at start of play, the top six: Norwich 66 points, Sheffield United 64, Leeds 64, then a gap, West Brom on 60, Middlesbrough 57, Bristol City 53. Outside the playoff places, Derby 51, Birmingham, Forest and Preston all on 47. So a win for Forest tonight, and they'll be within 3 points of the playoff zone once again.
It's been an unbelievable season in the Championship. The standard of football is high as well. The top three, the kind of stuff that they're producing, Norwich City, Sheffield United and Leeds, is just outstanding, and they have been the standard bearers for the likes of Forest and Derby to follow.
Milosevic with a long ball forward, and it's headed away by Keogh for Derby on the edge of the penalty area. Now Watson, who found himself on the sidelines during Aitor Karanka's spell in charge, but Martin O'Neill was quick to put him straight into the team on his arrival. He plays it forward, but there's a free kick conceded, and Derby County, who have barely been inside the Forest half so far, will now have the opportunity to try and build. And Frank Lampard is waving his team forward, looking for more urgency right from the start as they chase the game, trailing by a goal to nil with 5 minutes play.
Yeah, well, it's been their trademark this season that patience is the way that they go about things, especially from the back. They won't rush the forward pass, but there I think Frank Lampard was just urging his players just to be a bit more direct. It's a 4-1-4-1 actually for Derby County tonight. It's not the 3-5-2 we're expecting. It's Huddleston holding, and when they're on the ball, Huddleston comes deep to show for it, and the other two guys, Holmes and King, they push right on and join in support of Jack Marriott. They empty the engine room. It's really interesting to see unfold. It does place a lot of emphasis on Huddleston in that quarterback role.
Waghorn has done well to win a throw-in for Derby on the far side there, right. Huddleston comes short for it. He gathers on the edge of the penalty area, but his first touch was heavy, but he shrugs off the challenge of Watson. Needs some support. Osborne comes in with the challenge, and eventually Robinson and then Osborne will clear it away for Forest on their left-hand side. Held up well by Murphy, and he quickly releases Osborne, who was off and running, looking to get in behind Bogle. Forward again towards Colback, who makes a burst into the penalty area, and Tamori tries to cover, and eventually Tamori was fouled by Colback, and Derby have a free kick, and it's just a bit feisty in front of the Derby fans in the Bridgeford stand away to our right-hand side, as Colback and Keogh are held apart by the referee Robert Jones.
Yeah, it's getting a bit lively down there. We like to see that, don't we, in Derby football, right in front of the Rams supporters in that far corner. It was Tamuri, actually. I thought he took an almighty risk running back towards his own goal. He was looking to shepherd the ball out, but Jack Colback was having absolutely none of it. He was pressing him, he was snapping at his ankles. In the end, Tamuri wins a free kick, and he took exception to it, had a little bite, and then we saw that flare up. So I don't think it'll be the last one we see, Nigel.
Johan Benalouan with the only goal so far, his first for Nottingham Forest, and they lead Derby by a 1-0 on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL, with 7 minutes played at a sellout City ground in the East Midlands, as Derby look to try and build again. It's worked wide towards this near side, but it's very, very laboured in possession from the Rams so far. Tamori forward towards Wilson on loan from Liverpool. What can he do now? He's played it forward towards Marriott on the edge of the penalty area, wide towards Cole, who stabs in the cross, headed away though at the near post, but then cleared away as far as Huddleston, who we know can ping them, but this time he's closed down quickly, and Murphy gathers and lays it off neatly towards this right-hand side, and Lolly has the opportunity to come inside, and he plays a good ball forward towards Murphy, but he's just forced wide by the pace of the pass, wide towards the left, but he's got support from Osborne, and now Colback once again. The crowd urge him to shoot, but it's wide towards Osborne again. The cross there was blocked by Bogle, and Derby will try and break, but there are eager red shirts all over the field gathering possession at every opportunity at the moment.
Absolutely superb start from Nottingham Forest. The tempo of their play is so high, the quality of their passing, the front three causing havoc. Darryl Murphy a couple of times, he's held the ball up magnificently well. We've seen both wide men get onto the ball, get beyond their markers. It's going to plan for Martin O'Neill, no doubt about that. And of course, on the back of 2 successive goalless draws in this particular fixture, it's great, I think, for the game itself that we've had that early goal.
And the run of 0-0 draws in this game as well has also been broken, with Derby unbeaten in their last 6 East Midlands derbies. Forest haven't won one since November 2015, when they won here by a 0-0, and Ben Osborne, starting on the left-hand side of midfield tonight, is the only player still at the club.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? So he's the only guy that's tasted victory against the neighbours. They'd like to put that right tonight, but look, they've started well. Look, they're getting everybody behind the ball as Derby build up. I think Martin O'Neill said to his players, look, they can't hurt you from the halfway line, let's just keep our shape. We know that he's famed for his organisation, Martin O'Neill. We're seeing that in the early stages here when Derby have the ball.
And already Jody Morris and Frank Lampard straining right at the edge of the Derby technical area to try and sort things out here. Martin O'Neill wearing all blue to their left is just pacing around as well. No sign of Roy Keane at the moment, with Forest in control of this game in the early stages. 10 minutes played on TalkSport 2. Forest leading by a 0-0, and it's the goal scorer, who was also wearing a facial mask, Johan Benalouan, who now plays it forward, long downfield. Osborne heads it wide towards the far side, headed back infield towards him, and the head tennis continues as Derby now look to break towards the edge of the penalty area. Robinson and Osborne there with a series of 1-2s played with the head, very neatly made progress down the Forest left-hand side, and eventually the home team have a throw-in level with the edge of the Derby penalty area.
There's a purpose about everything that Nottingham Forest are doing in this first half. Looks like a long throw on that far left-hand side. All the big guns have come forward for it. This will give those Derby defenders something to think about.
Hurled in by Robinson, high into the penalty area, and Murphy again winning the header, but this time there were 2 Derby players around him and he couldn't keep the header down, and it's over the top.
We've seen already how much of a threat he poses aerially Daryl Murphy. Look, it's a blow for Nottingham Forest that Lewis Grabban, their top scorer 15 this season, is unavailable. And I think that over the course of any championship campaign, I'd back Grabban to score more goals than Murphy. But what he does give you is that outlet. He will hold the ball, he'll bring those attacking midfielders that we've been discussing into play, and he's done that excellently so far.
Murphy's been stuck on 99 career goals for a long time, but his value clearly shown in the assist for that goal scored by Ben Al-Louan. Now Huddleston plays it wide to the far side, and Keogh, a very precise ball from him, and it's kept in play by Bogle, who can be very quick. It's going to be a good battle between him and the Forest left-hand side. This time it was Colback who made the challenge. Dwayne Holmes is quickly harassed by Colback as he looks to try and work the ball in field, and eventually it's gone out of play for a throw-in to Derby. It is Forest against Derby on TalkSport 2, with McDonald's Fun Football providing over 5 million hours of fun grassroots football to the UK by 2022. Derby looking to build again with Tomori on loan from Chelsea, and it's quickly played in field by Andy King, who's had to come very deep to try and get involved in the game in the opening stages here, with Forest leading by a 0-0 with 12 minutes played. Huddleston with a long diagonal into the penalty area, and Costel Pantilimon at 6'8" will not drop those.
Well, you've got to do much better than that, Derby County. Pantilimon, one of the biggest goalkeepers across the EFL. That is absolute meat and drink for him. Derby, they're so ponderous in possession. It's very laboured, and they do look like a team that are low on confidence at the moment. They've had a couple of setbacks, a couple of poor performances in a row, and as a consequence of that, they're all taking that extra touch, playing the safe pass. No real cohesion or fluency at the moment to the Rams play.
Now the home side are looking for a free kick. There's a claim that Bogle had a hand in the face of Colback, mainly from the crowd on the far side, but in the end the decision goes Derby's way, and they look to try and build again with 13 minutes played. A reminder that the third one-day international in Grenada was washed out today without a ball being bowled, which is why we are bringing you Monday Night Football from the Championship, as Waghorn comes through for Derby, clicks it towards goal and wide, and what a glorious opportunity that was for Martin Waghorn. He was onside, clean through, and he went for the cheeky dink and got nowhere near it.
Well, he's wasted that. That is a golden opportunity for a player of Waghorn's quality to level things up out of absolutely nowhere. The through ball is terrific, just dissects the entire Nottingham Forest defence. He makes the run from the right hand side. It's a diagonal run into the centre forward position. I think he's expecting the flag to go up maybe. Everybody stops. He goes for one of those cheeky little dinked finishes, and it dribbles wide of the post. Let off for Nottingham Forest.
14 minutes played, Forest 1, Derby 0 on TalkSport 2. Tomori under pressure, heads away on the edge of the Derby penalty area. Then it's almost given away by Ashley Cole. Lolly won it back quickly, and now Forest will try to build on this near side once again. Yates has been challenged, and again a free kick not given by the referee. The Forest crowd were looking for one, and Frank Lampard applauds the decision to allow his team to continue, but eventually Dariqua will tidy up for Forest on this near side. Now Yates again infield towards Lolly, one of the only ever presence in this Forest side alongside Costel Pantilimon, and it's Lolly's 50th appearance in the Championship this evening, and he's a player who has really grown up quickly with Forest.
Oh yeah, he's had a wonderful season as well, scored some good goals. It's quite a feat actually.
Now it's given away by Tomori. Here is Lolly with a great chance, square towards Murphy. Murphy with a heavy first touch, and it gave Rose the opportunity to smother the save.
Wow, Nottingham Forest have got to score there. That is an awful touch from Daryl Murphy inside the box. The turnover. So Murray loses the ball in a terrible position. He's only 25 yards out from goal. Lolly robs him. Does the right thing, I think, in squaring it to his centre forward, who I can't believe has not been able to apply the finish. It's a really heavy touch, and the goalkeeper Keller Roos has smothered it in an instant. Wow, it should be 2-1 Forest. Instead it's just 1-0. But I was going back to Lolly. Karanka was chopping and changing the team every single week while he was in charge. So the fact that he's been a regular just shows how well he's been performing.
Well, Aitor Karanka seemed to lose faith in a number of players that Martin O'Neill is now picking every single week, which is often the way.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Managers, they like their own players, don't they? And yeah, every manager will have different tastes. That's why I think fans shouldn't always be so quick to judge certain individuals, because the relationship between player and manager is absolutely paramount, and just because you don't get on with one doesn't mean you're a bad player.
Huddleston now on the edge of his own penalty area, putting Keogh under pressure with the ball back to him inside the box. He was quickly closed down by Murphy, and eventually the ball ricochets away and behind for a goal kick. But at the moment, Derby are all over the place at the back.
Well, they've got to go longer. This reminds me of the first match of the season at Reading for Derby County, where they were really slow on the ball at the back, kept getting caught in possession, but they stuck with it because that's the principles of Frank Lampard. That's the way that they play, and I guess you do have to stick with it, but sometimes a bit of game management is required. This is a derby. Forest are flying in their faces. They've got their tails up. I think the time at the moment is to go a little bit more direct, just play inside Nottingham Forest territory for the next 5 or 10 minutes, taking chances inside their own defensive third. Perhaps not the brightest idea.
Now Kellerose clears long downfield for Derby again, wearing all lilac, defending their goal away to our right, and at the moment that's a crucial save he's just made to keep his side only a single goal down here with 17 minutes played on TalkSport 2. Now Tamori once again, another young player having to learn very quickly in the Championship. Harry Wilson, who's had an excellent season, scoring 12 goals of course, and many of those have been spectacular free kicks, and the way this game was started, a set piece, maybe Derby's best way back into this game, because at the moment in open play they're creating nothing.
Well, no, just that one chance where Waghorn beat the offside trap, but aside from that they've been awful really, Derby County, but they always have the left foot of Harry Wilson to rely on. It's a wand. It's the best left foot in the Championship, no question about that, and it wouldn't surprise me, given how exciting this match has begun, would not surprise me if we saw more goals and certainly a blockbuster from him.
Now Keogh again looking for options further forward, and not too many were forthcoming, so here is Tamori, who started life as a left back and has been used as a central defender. Cole finds Wilson, who slips on halfway. The pitch was heavily watered before kick-off on such a mild evening, but Derby have given the ball away again. Here is Lolly coming forward at pace. Huddleston then steps in, and the ground shook as Huddleston and Watson came together, and the clearance from Huddleston arcs straight into the Derby technical area, and it's a throw into Forest.
Neither man was going to pull out of that one, Nigel. Genuine 50-50. Watson and Huddleston, two guys that they relished the physical battle, and it was Huddleston that came out on top, just booted it out of play. That's how it has to be sometimes in matches like this, fast and frenetic. But Derby, they need to spend a bit more time inside opposition territory. They're bossing the ball. I don't know what the possession stats are. I'd imagine it's 70-30, but most of the time spent on the ball is inside their own half. That's not going to get them back into this contest.
Well, Forest have averaged 10% less possession in games since Aitor Karanka left, as Cole comes forward now down the left for Derby. It's a deep cross in. Waghorn nods it down back into the penalty area, and it's one back well inside the penalty area, and a player goes down there, and Derby have a couple of quizzical looks towards the referee. It was Jaden Bogle who was up there. He tumbled, but nothing was given.
Yeah, no major appeals there from Jaden Bogle, which I think tells its own story. It was more like it, but a drive, just getting the ball into the opposition penalty box. Suddenly Forest are a little bit shaky. It's not as if the Forest rearguard are absolutely watertight. I think they have got better under Martin O'Neill. Partly that is because they're better organised in terms of the banks of four, but also it's different personnel. Milosevic is new, of course. Ben Elouan is new, the goal scorer. So this is a back four that's not had a great deal of experience together, Nigel. And I think that Frank Lampard will have passed on that message to his players. Get out them where we can, because the relationships are in the infancy, aren't they? Nottingham Forest. I think that can be a positive for Derby.
Well, Derby have won 5 of their 16 games in which they've conceded first in the Championship so far this season, which is the most impressive record in that particular category. So Frank Lampard won't be too worried yet, but with 21 minutes played, his team have been second best so far. On the home of the EFL, TalkSport 2, Forest leading by a 1-0. Queen's Park Rangers against Leeds coming up tomorrow. Then it's the 4th one-day international on Wednesday on TalkSport. Salford against Saints on Thursday, and Leeds against West Brom on Friday. All big games and big sporting events coming up. Bogle now with a great dash into the penalty area down the Derby right, but is crossing towards the near post, is cut out by Milosevic, but Huddleston wins it back, and now a deeper ball swung in by King, and Milosevic again with a header this time to clear. Osborne will launch it forward towards the halfway line for Forest. Keogh though will control and does well under pressure from Murphy to go back towards his goalkeeper Keller Rose.
Yeah, a couple of good pieces of defending from the new boy Milosevic. Jayden Bogle getting more and more into this game. He's pushing on, he's taking a chance.
Now Huddleston with another excellent looking ball out to the far side. It was one of those arcing balls he's played so well over the years, but just too high on this occasion for Bogle.
Yeah, we've grown used to seeing Ashley Cole being that marauding, attack-minded fullback down the years, of course, but I think within this Derby back four, he might be the guy that stays back and shuffles alongside the centre halves at times and lets young Jayden Bogle go. We've already seen on a couple of occasions he's got blistering pace, and I do think that his duel with Ben Osborne on that far side is a really interesting one. Honours even probably so far, but Bogle is growing into the game, and I think he may have an influence as it goes on.
Milosevic plays it wide towards Deriqua for Forest. The red shirts streaming forward again as Lolly is clipped on this near side by Holmes, and it will be a Forest free kick just on halfway. And Martin O'Neill looking very sprightly for somebody who will be 67 on Friday.
Really? Yeah, wow. It does not look it, does it? I mean, Roy Hodgson broke the record in the Premier League, didn't he, at the weekend, 71.
Now Murphy on this near side, holding the ball up really well once again and finding Lolly, who looks to bob and weave into the penalty area, but Ashley Cole had seen that trick before and just nudges it behind for a corner.
Yeah, he's never an easy man to beat in a 1v1 situation, Ashley Cole. Big step up for him, by the way, coming in from the cold, from the MLS. I know that he's vastly experienced. He's played in so many big games down the years, but he might be breathing come the final whistle here this evening because he's not used to this pace in America.
Lolly's corner high into the penalty area. Nobody challenged until Keogh kneed the ball away 4 yards out. Now Lolly again, twisting and turning beyond Cole this time. A low ball in, Milosevic with a dummy, and it's eventually cleared away by Waghorn. Quickly returned into the penalty area by Osborne. Derby will clear, and Watson has to go all the way back towards Deriqua, who was the only outfield player inside the Forest half.
It's been really, really impressive from Nottingham Forest. They've got different ways of hurting Derby County. We've spoken about the aerial menace of Murphy, the craft of Lolly.
It's a late challenge committed by Wilson on the edge of the centre circle. There was a Forest player down, Yates. Initially the advantage was played and Martin O'Neill wanted a free kick, but now Forest have won it back, and a shot from Murphy on the edge of the penalty area. He then clatters into Tamori, and Lolly with a low shot which was saved on the edge of the penalty area by Keller Rose.
Well, swarming all over Derby County at the moment. Nottingham Forest are winning the 50-50s, creating turnovers deep inside the opposition half.
David Webb, the fourth official, gets a quick word from both Martin O'Neill and Roy Keane.
Yeah. It could be a busy person, the fourth official this evening. It's really interesting. I think when Derby have considered possession, Nottingham Forest drop off. They let them have it. They just have these two banks of four and say, come on then, break us down. But when they think there's a sniff of applying a bit of pressure, of winning the ball back in a good area, they swarm all over them like a rash. Nottingham Forest. It's a two-sided tactical approach, and it's working like a dream.
25 minutes played on TalkSport 2. Forest 1, Derby 0 in the East Midlands derby. As Jack Marriott, who has seen precious little of the ball so far, loses out in a challenge with Watson, and it spins all the way back towards Pantilimon. Now Yates has gone down again, challenged by Holmes. In fact, it was Wilson, and there will be another free kick given, and this time the yellow card will be shown.
I'm not sure what Wilson has done to deserve the yellow. I felt convinced that was Holmes that committed the trip. So I don't know whether that's dissent from young Harry Wilson on loan from Liverpool.
Maybe the referee had the earlier challenge still in his mind, but
quite possibly. I have to say that Tomori and Wilson are looking a little bit hot-headed down there. It's a big occasion, of course. They're pumped up, eager to impress, but I wouldn't describe either of them as composed so far.
And the veteran Ben Watson, it's over the free kick for Forest. And on the balance of play, a second goal for them would not be undeserved at the moment. Swirled in high by Watson towards the edge of the penalty area and flicked towards goal, and it was Benalouan who was also in the vicinity once again, as this time Rose gathers.
Yes, Robinson that won the first header on this occasion. No red shirt reacted to the second ball, and it dribbled through to the keeper. But again here, look at this.
Tomori
from the front,
under pressure, and as a result his ball forward is cut out by Watson. Now terrific wing play from Lolly down the right hand side, low in towards Yates inside the penalty area, and in the end, as he tries to hook the ball back, he actually clatters into Holmes, and Holmes puts a hand into the face of Yates, who was on the ground, and that's the cue for players from both sides to get involved straight away, right in front of the Forest supporters in the Bridgeford stand, and the referee Robert Jones here has a decision or two to make.
Right, this is a proper East Midlands tear up, and it's Yates, the youngster, that starts it. I think he's just over eager. The ball runs out of play, and he continues to make the tackle. Holmes sees the red mist and lashes out at him. I don't think my first instinct is that this is not worthy of a red card, but I do think that he probably should go into the book.
Well, Keogh, the Derby captain, is trying to intervene. There's a handshake between Yates and Holmes, and the referee is having a long talk with both of them. The assistants from both sides also came in as well to offer their views should they be required. And it was a late challenge by Yates and a bad reaction from Holmes.
Yeah, the ball had already gone out of play, and Yates went through with the tackle, and it knocks Holmes up in the air. And Holmes, I understand why he bites, I really do, but when you do that, when you lay a hand on an opponent, as he did so obviously, you're going to go into the book, and he's got to be really careful now, as has Yates, who's also picked up a caution. So a little bit of naivety perhaps from those two younger players, but it's got everyone going around us.
Well, yellow cards all round, and I think the referee dealt with that well.
Yeah, it was very sensible actually that he got the senior players, the captains, over to have a chat, just to say calm down. Perhaps that's why this particular match official has been given so many big matches this season.
Cole did brilliantly there to keep in the goal kick from Rose, and now Derby will look to bring it forward with Holmes at the other end, wide towards this near side, and Wilson square towards Huddleston, and again Huddleston not given the room to turn by Colback, so he goes back towards Tomori, and the huge hulking figure of Huddleston turns again and plays an excellent ball wide to the far side, and Bogle didn't have the room to deliver the cross, goes back into a central area for King, who plays it wide towards Bogle and says have another go, but this time Osborne wins it back, and it dribbles out of play off the challenge of Bogle, and it will be a throw-in to Forest, and everything is running for them in the opening half hour, leading by a goal to 0 on TalkSport 2.
It's been a sensational first half performance from Nottingham Forest, outstanding with and without the ball. Martin O'Neill must be thrilled with the attitude that his players have shown, and also their decision making in the heat of the moment. In these kind of occasions, it's easy to lose your rag, it's easy to get carried away, but they've been ice cold at times in their approach. Really, really impressive.
Now Marriott chasing a long ball forward with Benalouan, and he's done well to win it inside the penalty area. Was he dragged down? Well, the referee had a look to his assistant on the far side, who didn't draw the flag across his chest, and players allowed to continue. Now Murphy barges into Tomori at the other end, down the Forest left, looks to turn back in field and control, but loses out, and it's a throw into Derby.
A snapshot of what Daryl Murphy's all about there. He ran the channel. It's a 50-50 really with Tomori, and then boom, sticks his shoulder into the youngster. I'm having this one, son. And it's really good play from him. In the end, his second touch is loose and it goes out for a throw, but good centre forward play initially. At the other end, it was a faint penalty appeal, wasn't it? I don't think there was enough in it from Benalawan on Jack Marriott, but I think he felt that there might have been a foul. Don't have the benefit of a monitor here to study the replay, unfortunately.
31 minutes played, 1-0 to Forest on TalkSport 2. Tamori, infield again towards Wilson, who plays the 1-2 with Holmes, and now Wilson has been fouled about 25 yards out by Yates, who needs to be careful here, having just been booked. And it's a free kick which, although it's a long way out, Harry Wilson may be sizing up.
Well, yeah, you said I think it's more than 25. I'd say it's probably more like 35 yards, really. But Harry Wilson has probably got it in his locker. I'm such a fan of his left foot. It is unbelievable, but even he would be a bit ambitious, I think, to take the strike on from here. The centre halves have gone up. They're shaping up, I think, to deliver a cross here. I think that's the sensible option.
Holmes, along with Wilson, over the free kick. Every single outfield player is back defending for Forest at the Trent end of the City Ground on TalkSport 2. Wilson's free kick high in towards that penalty area, and it's headed up and away by Milosevic, and behind for Derby's first corner.
Yeah, a bit of confusion there between Milosevic and Murphy. They both go for the same ball, getting each other's way and make a slight hash of it. It's behind for a corner. Harry Wilson's over there with that left foot of his again. I do think that Derby will be a real threat from these kind of scenarios tonight.
12 and a half minutes to play in the first half, which has flown by. Forest lead 1-0. Wilson's corner driven in towards that near post area, met decisively by Murphy. Clears as far as Wilson again, who delivers a cross which was deflected by Osborne, and now Colback will clear the ball away, and it's Osborne who continues to run up towards halfway. Now Lolly gets involved, but it's won back well by Holmes. Wilson with a first time ball wide to the far side, looking for Waghorn, and it's straight out of play. And Waghorn and Marriott have seen precious little of the ball so far.
Not had a sniff, have they? Marriott in particular is playing a lone furrow up top. Waghorn's operating on the right wing, and for me, it's not his best position. He's a natural centre forward. He's done it plenty of times during his career, Waghorn, but I see him as a number 9 really, and I think that he and Marriott could develop a good partnership. But he's isolated out there on the right, and it's not easy for him to shine. Certainly not seen much of the ball, but he did have Derby County's best chance, that 1v1. He'll be kicking himself that he went for the fancy little dink over the keeper. Poor miss from him.
Now an opportunity for Osborne to break into the penalty area, pulls it back low, and the fine in, and it's deflected wide, and it was Yates with the final touch. Lolly with the shot with plenty of power, and Yates diving in just diverted it wide.
Goodness me, this is just a whisker away from goal number 2. Osborne does superbly down the left hand side, drills the cross back from the byline. Lolly at the far post, left footed. His shot actually is going wide, and Yates, who's burst into the box, he's chested it, I think, towards goal. I felt certain it was going to nestle in the bottom corner. It just whizzes past that far post. So close, Forest.
The way things are going, I think Frank Lampard will be quite happy to get him 1-0 down.
Definitely, absolutely. This has not been a good half for his team. They look disjointed. It's not working, it's too slow, it's too ponderous. I think there's an over-reliance on Huddleston to spray those long 50-60 yard balls. Nottingham Forest are not having a problem with it.
Now Andy King brings it forward. One Leicester City loanee has already scored here this evening. What can King do? Well, he finds Holmes, who already has a muddy splurge on the back of his white Derby shirt, and he brings it forward square towards Huddleston, who looks to the left hand side, and King once again, and it's scooped in looking for Marriott, who was lunging, but the ball was always spinning beyond him and behind for a goal kick.
Yep, not the best ball in. Forest can just take the sting out of the game. It's been non-stop, breathless really, this first period. Very, very exciting. These are the kind of opportunities for the players to just get their breath back. I think Frank Lampard should change it at half-time. I think he should change the system. The 4-1-4-1's not really working. I'd go old school. I'd go 4-4-2, get those two strikers combining up top. I think you could lose one of the midfielders, either Holmes or Huddleston. Bring on Joseph soon, potentially. A much more natural wide man for Derby County. That's how I would go about it, but we'll have to see what Frank does at the interval. He hasn't been afraid to change shapes throughout this debut campaign in the dugout.
9 minutes to play in the first half. Forest leading 1-0. Huddleston curls a high ball in, then throws his head back in frustration as it gently floats into the arms of Pantilimon, who has not really had a shot to save so far.
Well, if you're playing against a team that's got a giant of a keeper, let's get this right, Pantilimon is an absolute giant. The one message that you would send to your fullbacks and wingers is do not float high balls into the box, because he will gobble them up. And that's all we've seen from Derby. It's crazy.
Ashley Cole finding Tom Huddleston. And now it's square again towards the captain, Richard Keogh. Huddleston coming short. And there's been some control passing from Derby, but not really in areas that can hurt Forest. Now King once again, wide to the far side, and Bogle. And much of Derby's threat has come down that right-hand side, but this time Tamori will try and stride forward from the left, and it's a promising run from him. He tried to play in Marriott, but Marriott had turned his back, so it was a blind pass, and as a result it didn't find him. Now an opportunity for Lolly to come forward once again. Yates infield to Watson, and now Milosevic. And Forest here playing the right sort of football, the right technique and the right style in a local derby.
Yeah, I agree completely. The intensity is there for all to see, with and without the ball. Off the ball work has been tremendous in the way they've got in the faces of those Derby County players. But then when they've had it, it hasn't just been direct, it hasn't been wasted. They've taken the opportunity to string passes together, be very composed. I guess that comes with the confidence of having the one goal lead as well. But no, this is bordering on being the perfect first half for Martin O'Neill. The only thing that could make it better is the second goal.
38 minutes played on TalkSport 2. If you're tuning in for the conclusion of the third one-day international in Grenada, that was washed out without a ball being bowled earlier on today, which is why we're bringing you commentary of Nottingham Forest against Derby County in the EFL Championship. And Derby have won a free kick on halfway. It was a late challenge by Lolly on this near side, and Derby here have the opportunity to try and get something going in this game.
They need to, don't they? Very, very flat from them. Just created that one chance. It was a brilliant through ball. Excellent run from Waghorn, who should score. That aside, it's just been nondescript from Derby County. They've had loads of the ball, but done precious little with it. Nottingham Forest, purposeful in everything that they have done.
And Derby have only kept 2 clean sheets in the whole season.
Wow.
And that really gives you an idea of the problems they've had, because often they've been on top in games and not put sides away. I mean, they were 1-0 up in the 3rd minute against Ipswich away from home in the game before last. You would think that was the platform to beat a team lacking any sort of confidence, and it was a 1-1 draw as Keogh pings the ball into the penalty area from the far side, but it was Johan Balan who clears the ball away. And now an opportunity for Watson to work it wide to the far side, and Osborne, who does well under pressure. Robinson then eventually hacks it down the line, and it's deflected away off Waghorn into the lower tier of the Brian Clough stand for a throw into Forest.
Yeah, it's a strange team really, Derby. If you split the season into first halves and second halves, in the first half, if every game finished at half time, Derby would be second in the table. In terms of the second half, it started at 45 minutes, ended at 90, it'd be 17th. So they're going to have to improve on that statistic, aren't they, here at the City Ground after half time. They're going to have to reverse what's been the trend this year.
Against the Forest side, who've only lost once in 19 games when they'd scored the first goal here this season, and that was at home to Norwich back in September. Now Lolly coming forward again. It's been a real test for Ashley Cole, and he's lost out to Lolly, who goes beyond him, drives in the cross, but Cole recovers to concede the corner.
Yeah, this is going to be the issue for Ashley Cole. Every wide man that comes up against him in the Championship this season is going to be so fired up to have a great game against him. They all want to destroy the great Ashley Cole, and I have to say that Lolly is winning that particular duel this evening. He is tormenting the former England international.
Lolly now with the corner, an in-swinger from the right, high into the penalty area, and it was Ben Alouane who wins the header again before the free kick is conceded for a challenge on Wilson by Watson. And now there's a complaint being made by Marriott that there was a stamp inside the penalty area, and Robert Jones is telling him to calm down, not for the first time.
He lost his head there, Marriott. Really unhappy. He shoved the Nottingham Forest player as well in the chest. He's getting a stern talking to from Robert Jones, who does let him off the hook. I think part of that's down to frustration. Marriott has done a lot of running, he's chased everything, but how many touches has he had in this first half? Most of the time, whenever he's had a touch, he's been clattered as well from the really aggressive Nottingham Forest centre halves.
And we wondered whether Daryl Murphy will be able to occupy a couple of Derby centre halves, and the answer emphatically has been yes.
Oh yes, he's put himself about, I think is the phrase you're looking for. He's big, he's strong, knows how to use his body, and yeah, I think he's enjoying coming up against Tamori in particular. He's a little bit green, very talented, we know that, of course, the Chelsea youngster, but it's an examination for him tonight up against an old school centre forward.
Daryl Murphy, here was Marriott just chasing a back header from Robinson, but it was gathered by Pantilimon. Daryl Murphy will be well known to Roy Keane, had him in the Championship with both Sunderland and Ipswich. Republic of Ireland international as well.
It was interesting, wasn't it, when Martin O'Neill came in, he effectively dropped Grabban, the leading scorer for Daryl Murphy, and that's a real show of faith in him. It's clearly a favourite, and there's no other way of looking at it really, but ultimately I think Grabban will get you more goals.
Now Murphy plays it forward towards Yates on the edge of the penalty area. Left foot shot from him is blocked well by Tamori, and Derby will try and clear, and King eventually goes back towards Rose, who can bring the ball forward, but it's the youngster Ryan Yates who has done really well again in an attacking area, supporting Murphy, playing off Murphy. And here is Waghorn though for Derby. Now King wide towards Marriott, who again is pressurised as soon as he receives the ball, but Derby maintain possession. The tiny figure of Holmes looking to play the ball inside the fullback for Marriott on the far side, but Forrest will bring the ball away, and it's Yates again who goes down looking for the free kick as he's challenged by Huddleston, and nothing was given. And Yates has got to be careful here, because if the referee saw that as a dive, he'd be off.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of dissent there. He's waving his fists at the referee. Got to be really careful. He's having a great game, is Yates. Make no mistake, he's been outstanding, but does not want to spoil it all by getting himself sent off, and he must be walking a tightrope here.
Into the final minute of the first half on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL. Forest leading by a 0-0, with Queen's Park Rangers against Leeds coming up tomorrow night, and Leeds against West Brom on Friday. And this time next week, more Monday night football from the Championship. We're live from Hillsborough. It's the Steel City Derby between Wednesday and United. Derby again, see it attack, fizzle out to nothing on this near side, and Pantilimon will have a goal kick, and it's been a first half which Forest have dominated, and the only thing which may be a concern to Messrs O'Neill and Keane is that they've not built on their lead.
Yeah, they haven't had too many efforts on goal. That'd be my one criticism. Obviously they've had chances after they scored the goal after 90 seconds or so, but they haven't peppered Kelleroos, have they? I think they've been by far the better side, but inside that final third they've perhaps lacked a little bit of invention. It's been all action stuff from them, but maybe that bit of guile you need It's been absent, but we haven't seen much of that from Derby either, to be perfectly honest.
And there'll be 2 added minutes at the end of the first half, as Holmes brings it forward again for Derby into the feet of Waghorn, but he's quickly crowded out by a combination of Watson and Colback, and Osborne will bring it forward now, almost into the path of Colback, but it's quickly cut out by Huddleston. The early ball forward from him nearly picks out Marriott, and then Marriott is almost found a second time by Waghorn, but Robinson was in the way. And now a long ball forward again for Murphy to chase, and Tamori could hear him coming.
He could. I'm just trying to think. I'm just looking down rather at the centre of midfield. I think that's where Nottingham Forest are absolutely bossing this match. Watson, Colback and Yates. 3-man unit has been far superior to those in white shirts. Done nothing really. Huddleston too deep, spraying too many long passes that are going nowhere. Holmes non-existent. Wilson very, very quiet. Yeah, Nottingham Forest, it's a workman-like engine room, but it's working like a treat.
Now Huddleston wide towards the far side, and there's an opportunity for Derby to finish the first half on the attack here, and they'll finish with a free kick because there's a heavy challenge there by Ben Watson on Harry Wilson, 10 yards in from touch on the far side, the right, and once again Frank Lampard thinks about striding towards the fourth official, then thinks better of it as he continues to prowl around the Derby technical area, hands thrust deep into pockets.
Fuming. He does not look happy, Frank Lampard. I think he might tear into his players at half-time. Even though he's given a free kick away there, Watson, at least they're putting in the tackles, Nottingham Forest. Think about this being a Derby contest. Forest are really getting stuck in. Are there Derby counterparts, especially inside that injury room? Are they doing the same? I don't think they are.
The free kick high into the penalty area from Wilson, headed out as far as Huddleston with a shot which was deflected, and then it's scrambled clear on the edge of the 6-yard area by Milosevic as the half-time whistle goes, and there's a moment of relief at Nottingham Forest right on half-time, but on the whole they have been the dominant side.
Yeah, it's been a thoroughly enjoyable first period. Nottingham Forest fans rightly standing to applaud their heroes. Perfect start, wasn't it? Goal inside 2 minutes, Benalawan, and from there though, they didn't sit on it. They continued to harry and hassle the Derby County players, made life very, very uncomfortable for them, and really on the balance of play, Forest should have a 2-goal lead at the break. It's just the one though.
Half time then, Nottingham Forest 1, Derby County 0. Yeah, thank you, Dan. Joseph Zoon is out there at the moment, deep in conversation with Frank Lampard, and the way Frank Lampard is trying to show him a couple of moves inside the technical area suggests he will be coming on.
Who's missing then? Is it Huddleston?
Huddleston's not out there, no.
Yeah, well, it's the call that I said he should make. It's the one that I would have made. I didn't think it was working with him as that quarterback. It kind of hamstrings Derby County when he plays because he's got such little mobility. He's a great technician, we know that. He's got quality on the ball, but you need 2 players around him, and it just wasn't clicking. I think going with King and Holmes in there and bringing on Joseph soon, it will just add so much more balance to the Derby County side, and it will hopefully get a front 2 together on the pitch as well in the form of Waghorn and Marriott.
So the Derby team will now be Rose in goal, the back 4, Bogle, Keogh, Tamori and Cole. It will be Joseph Zoon on one side, Wilson on the other, with King in the midfield with Holmes and Waghorn and Marriott in attack, although it could be a 4-3-3 rather than a 4-4-2. For Forest, no real mystery to the way they've been playing so far. Pantilimon in goal, Darikwa, Benalawan, Milosevic and Robinson the back 4. Ben Watson the deepest line midfielder with Ryan Yates and Jack Colback ahead of them. Lolly on one side, Osborne on the other, and Murphy down the middle as the battering ram. We are underway in the second half on TalkSport 2 at the City Ground. Forest in their red shirts attacking the Trent end away to our left-hand side, and it's Osborne looking to make a burst down the left, but he's halted, and it's a throw into Derby County in their white shirts with black trim, black shorts and white socks. Forest looking for their first win in 7 in the East Midlands derby, and of course there is a cup up for grabs tonight, the Brian Clough Trophy.
It was on display, wasn't it, ahead of kick-off? Lovely old trophy.
This is the 25th meeting between the two clubs for that particular honour. Derby have won 11 times, Forest have won 6, and there have been 7 draws, and Derby have retained it for a long time now due to that run of draws, and also 3 wins for them as well since the last Forest victory. Now Watson heads it forward, Murphy again rising to try and win it above Keogh, and the head tennis between two sides continues. There's no need for the grass at the moment as Murphy heads it wide to the far side. Lolly eventually does head the ball down, and Yusufzun almost gets it before Dariqua, but Dariqua wins it back and then does well to lunge in and scoop it towards the penalty area where it's gathered by Rose.
Yeah, it looks more like a 4-3-3, which I'm slightly surprised at, because again I don't think it's bringing the best out of Waghorn. Could be more of a 4-2-1-3 with Wilson clearly playing as the attacking midfielder, the guy in behind that front three we were just talking about. So yeah, he's definitely shaking things up tactically, Lampard.
Now there's a chase for Murphy, who looks to be onside. Rose comes out of his goal, the clearance only finds Osborne. The crowd were urging him to shoot from 50 yards, but he was pressurised by Bogle, couldn't get the shot in, and Derby escape. Now Robinson with a long ball forward over the top again, and Colback this time is offside.
Yeah, for a split second there, Jack Colback's eyes lit up. He thought, hang on, am I on? He'd have been 1v1 with Kelleroos. The flag did go up, as it so often does, very late these days. But yeah, what a second half I think we're in for, because Derby County can't play as poorly as they did in that first half, surely. Has to be a reaction. And Nottingham Forest have certainly got a bit between their teeth. They're so determined, so aggressive tonight. It's just a matter of maintaining it.
2.5 minutes played in the second half on TalkSport 2. Nottingham Forest leading Derby County by a 1-0 in the Sky Bet Championship. There's a bonus commentary for you this evening with the third one-day international in Grenada washed out without a ball being bowled. Now Yusufzun for Derby on the far side looks to drive towards the touchline, and his cross is blocked by Dariqua, and it will be a throw-in for Derby on the far side there left.
Yeah, I like him, Yusufzun. At Brentford he was terrific, really skillful, positive player. The big surprise for me is that he's not been more of a regular under Frank Lampard this term. He's been probably a substitute more often than a starter.
3 goals for him. And many of those appearances, as Adrian was saying, coming from the bench. Made his name at PSV Eindhoven and was a title winner in the Dutch Eredivisie. As Bogle's cross into the penalty area, it's behind Waghorn. It comes to Yusufzun again inside the penalty area, left-hand side, and his shot is turned aside by Pantilimon, and it's Derby's first shot in anger from Florian Yusufzun.
Yeah, Yusufzun, instant impact there. Picks up the ball on the left side of the box, chops inside his man. He's aiming for that far top corner. Pantilimon sticks up a hand and puts it behind. Didn't have to make a dive, but it was a decent effort.
Harry Wilson will take the corner on this near side. Works it short to Holmes to open up the angle, and then towards Bogle on the edge of the penalty area. His cross though was a weak one, headed away by Robinson, recovered by Cole, high into the box, flicked on by King, and then Colback was looking for his goalkeeper at the far post, and belatedly Pantilimon grabs the ball, and now King has gone down after colliding with Pantilimon, and he's off the pitch behind the goal away to our right.
Yeah, it's accidental, and good on Pantilimon here, getting him into the recovery position. My instinct is that it's not really serious, because he's moving around, he's rolling around a bit, but yeah, he's showing his caring side there, wasn't he, the Nottingham Forest goalkeeper? Didn't have to knock the ball out of play because he was off the pitch.
No, but he could appreciate there was something wrong there, and 2 members of Derby's medical team have scampered around the edge of the pitch to offer him some treatment, and he's now actually rolled back onto the pitch, so play can't restart until the treatment's continued.
No, just looking at the respective benches, a lot of activity in the Nottingham Forest technical area. Roy Keane, animated, he's having a word with Daryl Murphy, isn't he, there? His compatriot, just keep it going, son. But yeah, there's a real mothers meeting there. 5 members of staff. I'm having the chin wag. I think that they'll be mildly concerned that Derby have started the second half much better. They're certainly, in terms of territory, they've got themselves into better, more advanced areas straight away with this new system, this new shape.
Roy Keane, without a beard at the moment, clean shaven, on a very mild evening here in the East Midlands. It was a beautiful drive over from the west of the country where I was yesterday watching Manchester United against Liverpool, and when I arrived to park my car in the Trent Bridge car park, I was surprised cricket wasn't being played. It was that warm.
It's like a spring day. It's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, I wasn't supposed to be here this evening, but I'm absolutely thrilled to be, because it's a lovely evening, perfect night for football. We've got a cracking local derby here, good quality.
Derby are about to make a second change as well. Whether it's for Andy King or not, I'm not too sure, but Shay Gibbon
doesn't look good, does he?
Has the tablet out and is currently talking to a Derby player on the bench who currently has his shirt off, revealing a number of tattoos.
Is that Bradley Johnson?
On his bare back. That would be the sensible change if it is Andy King.
I think it's Bradley Johnson, stripped and ready. Johnson,
of course, has not really been able to re-establish his place in the Derby side after that ban for biting.
Just can't get my head around a player getting banned for biting.
Well, it was Joe Allen, wasn't it, the player who was the victim?
Yeah,
and he was found guilty.
Disgraceful. Got a lot of making up to do. Talking of beards, by the way, I had a beard until yesterday. Put it on the wrong setting without realising. Whipped it all off by mistake. Once it started, had to get rid of it. Couldn't believe it.
I know. Well,
it was getting a bit.
When you're operating opposite someone like Mark Webster, who was so hirsute, you've got to try and do something, haven't you? Forrest coming forward now from the restart inside the area. Yates with a shot which is blocked by Keogh, and the shot is fired in from distance and just wide, right on the edge of the penalty area. It was Joe Lolly who really caught hold of that, and Rose, happy to see it, bobble beyond the far post.
Yeah, cracking effort, left foot. It was a real daisy cutter, and it was curling towards that far corner all of the time. Just didn't have quite enough bend on it. Just kisses the outside of the post, but good moment there for Nottingham Forest. Derby make the sub.
Yeah, Andy King is coming around towards this near side, and he looks very, very groggy. And if there is any suspicion of concussion or anything like that, then Derby, of course, have to make the change, and Bradley Johnson is on. So 2 changes for Derby within 8 minutes at the start of the second half.
Well, they did need to change things.
Now Marriott, though, is onside inside the penalty area, comes in field, and now Holmes will try and deliver the shot towards goal, but it's cleared away by Milosevic, and the home crowd were calling for offside, but Marriott was onside but couldn't make the most of the opportunity.
Yeah, worrying moments there for Nottingham Forest, but what I did notice is as Marriott was about to pull the trigger, red shirts were flying in his face, putting bodies on the line. You had 2-3 players swarm upon him, diving towards him as well. They really are determined to get the result tonight, Nottingham Forest. There's a serious appetite to their play.
Now Bradley Johnson, his first touch, sweeps it wide to the far side, and Ashley Cole, who at the age of 38 is experiencing his first East Midlands derby, and his ball down the line was overhit, looking for Yusuf Zoon and behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, I don't think you've enjoyed the first half too much, Ashley Cole. Joe Lolly tormented him at times, always eager to run at him, very, very direct and positive. He's one of the most informed players in the Championship, Joe Lolly, so it's a test for Ashley Cole. But I do think that it will help him having Yusuf Zoon ahead of him on that left-hand side in this second period. They can combine well, and hopefully he'll get a bit more support as well.
9 minutes played in the second half on TalkSport 2. Murphy has been penalised for a high arm on Bradley Johnson, and it will be a free kick, and Robert Jones, the referee, is now calling Ben Osborne towards him. Maybe there was just a rogue word there, and the message is I'm in charge.
Well, he got in the way, he stopped them taking a quick free kick. A little bit lucky there, Ben Osborne, not to be cautioned. Referee could have been a stickler.
I think that's the point that Jody Morris is currently making to David Webb, the fourth official.
Yeah, it's a fair and valid point.
Holmes coming forward again into the penalty area, and now wide on this near side. Bogle comes in field, but he couldn't evade the challenge of Colback, and Forrest will try and break down the left with Ben Osborne. Steps away from Harry Wilson, but Wilson does well to make the challenge and ensure that Derby have the throw-in, but it's played down the line looking for Marriott, but Benalouan, the goal scorer so far, made the challenge and clears.
That's been one of the key differences. When you look at the Forest midfield, you've got Colback and Watson. they will tuck in and they will act as supplementary centre-halves at times, winning the ball back on the edge of their own box.
Bogle with a high cross into the penalty area, and Pantilimon stood and watched it, and it wasn't too far away from that far post.
No, if they had Daryl Murphy in the box, they might have had someone on the end of that barrier. Not the biggest, it goes well over his head and out for a goal kick. Yeah, going back to the point on the Forest midfield, I just think that Watson and Colbert, they'll drop in alongside their centre-halves and they'll tidy up, they'll recover possession. They've done it numerous times in this match. And when I look at their direct opponents in the Derby midfield, Frank Lampard isn't getting the same tune out of his players.
Now Murphy coming forward, links up on the far side with Lolly once again. He will look to skate beyond Cole and deliver the cross. The cross is blocked by the back of Cole, but it's a low ball back in for Yates now, who heads to the byline. High cross to the far post, is beyond the near post and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, he's been good tonight. Ryan Yates grabbed his opportunity with both hands, and there was injuries and suspensions was the reason he got his chance under Martin O'Neill, but since he got into the side he has been consistent enough not to leave out. And fair play to Martin O'Neill. It would have been easy to leave the kid out, the one from the academy, once the bigger names were fit and available, but he stuck with him, and tonight the young boy has been one of his best performers.
Well, Martin O'Neill of course has an immense amount of credit with Forest fans, but that will grow early on if you give young players an opportunity, which he has done. Of course, Lolly has stayed in the team. Osborne is not necessarily a youngster anymore, but he's somebody who came through the club and is liked by the fans.
I think it matters, I really do. I think having players that identify with the values of the club, that know what it means to play for Derby County, they understand the supporters. It's great to have a sprinkling of those guys within the first team setup, and Forest have definitely got that, and Derby I suppose will be looking to do that as well over the next few years. At the moment, needs must, they've had to bring in a lot of young players, great young players by the way, from bigger clubs, Chelsea and Liverpool, and that in itself is a different way of doing it, and it's been equally as successful, but you won't get that same identity.
Osborne down this left hand side. At the moment it's going to be a disappointing journey back down the A52 for those Derby supporters away to our right. 13 minutes into the second half, they trail on TalkSport 2 by a goal to nil, as they have done since the second minute, as Lolly looks to move forward again on the far side, and this time Cole does well to go to ground and slide in and concede a throw in for Forest by the corner flag as they attack the Trent end here at the City Ground. Red and white on 3.5 sides, with a corner of black and white in the far corner.
Great noise. We've seen that Ashley Cole tackle 1,000 times, haven't we? Snapping into the wide man, knocking him and the ball into touch. That was trademark Cole.
Now he'll have to do more defensive work here. Holmes is tight to Cole back on the far side, twisting and turning with the ginger hair, looking to deliver the cross. Now Deriqua does, appeals for handball against Cole as it deflects off him very close to the penalty area, but the referee and the assistant on the far side only give a throw in.
I didn't think that was deliberate. Would have been an exceptionally soft penalty. He was inside the box and it may well have struck his arm, but no way he could get it out of the way. Long throw for Forest, it's a new weapon. Oh, it's gone short.
Short this time to Watson on the right corner of the penalty area. He's been caught and he has been fouled by Yosef Zoon, and it will be a free kick for Forest and another opportunity to send the big men forward. And Beno Luan is heading forward once again following his goal right at the start of this game.
Well, where this free kick is being taken, this is almost an identical position for where the goal was scored. For that goal, Huddleston headed the ball straight into the air, and from that mistake Nottingham Forest pounced. There is no Huddleston second half. He might miss his height, even though he did make that mistake for the goal.
Forest are a big team. Beno Luan, Murphy and Milosevic all waiting at the far post along with Robinson, who I saw score a far post header at Leeds earlier this season. And it's whipped in high towards that far post, and Roos does well to fist the ball away towards this near side. It's recovered by Robinson. back towards Osborne, swirled high into the penalty area. Benalouan was jumping with the goalkeeper, but he was offside.
Yeah, it was Andy Gray style, wasn't it? 84 Cup final. It was just one of those high looping balls from Osborne. He didn't even look, just put it into the area. And Keller-Roos didn't look entirely comfortable, especially when he saw out of the corner of his eye that Benalouan was going to challenge him for the ball. But as so often is the case, the referee gives the benefit of the doubt to the keeper, and the free kick was given.
Frank Lampard just has words again with the fourth official about the nature of the challenge there on Roos, and he looks chippy, Frank Lampard, doesn't he?
Well, I understand why he's not happy, because his team are not performing. I don't think the officials are against him.
No.
I don't actually think that Nottingham Forest are being overly aggressive. They're being as determined.
It's a local derby.
As determined as you would expect your players to be. I don't think they've overstepped the mark. What I think in his heart he'll be feeling is that his derby players have been a bit soft, and they've taken way too long to get a taste for the game this evening.
And his arms waving again towards the officials. Benalouan inside his area, didn't see Marriott coming there as he goes back towards Pantilimon, who clears long downfield right-footed. It's one well in the air by Yates above Johnson, but here is Holmes, probably the smallest player on the pitch for Derby County. Now Wilson, wide to this near side, and Johnson. And Johnson's picked out the runner Bogle in space down the Derby right. He swings in the cross. Benalouan is able to clear as far as Johnson, who dinks it back in onto the head of Watson, and it should be cleared by Yates, but it's a poor clearance. And here is Marriott now, wide towards the far side, and Yosef Zun, who will take on Deriqua and head towards the byline, delivers in the cross, and it's into the midriff of Pantilimon.
Yeah, not the best cross from Yosef Zun. What I noticed there, as the wide man went past his fullback, 4 white shirts flooding the box. It's a definite change from the first period. There had just been one player in there, Jack Marriott, up until half-time. Did not commit men forward there. They're going for a little bit more, Derby County now, as they have to. 1 goal down. This is a big improvement from them. Still haven't created a great deal, but they're better. They had to be better.
You're listening to Nottingham Forest versus Derby County on TalkSport 2 with McDonald's Fun Football, providing over 5 million hours of fun grassroots football to the UK by 2022. Now Colback, who's been a really good signing for Nottingham Forest, finding Ryan Yates, who looks to have been a really good find. Played only 1 match in the EFL Cup under Aitor Karanka, but he's been a regular so far in the league under Martin O'Neill, who is heading for victory in his first East Midlands derby here as Forest win a free kick again on the far side. O'Neill, of course, was involved in games as a player when Forest were the best in the land, and his 1 goal in an East Midlands derby came at the baseball ground back in April 1979. A month later, Forest were European champions. Now Lolly comes in field from the right, slides it into the penalty area for Murphy with his back to goal. He can't link up with Osborne. Waghorn then ricochets the ball into Osborne, and I thought that caught him in a nasty place, and it did, and eventually it bobbles away for a throw into Derby.
Yeah, he's a tougher man than I am.
I would have been down, prostrate.
Yeah, freedom a bit tougher around these parts. But look, Derby, look, they can't afford distractions. In all seriousness, their minds are on the job now. There's more urgency about whenever the ball goes out of play. Derby County player goes and chases it, as Waghorn's done here. Kind of got it off the ball boy. They know that the clock is running down, and that this is a really bad night.
Rolling ball there from Keogh. Well, that is schoolboy stuff,
yeah.
Because Keogh got the ball, put it down, it was rolling, took the free kick with nobody near him, and now he has to go back, and Forest have reset. That's like a foul throw, isn't it?
Yeah, it's daft, really. They've not been great tonight, Derby County, and they're a team that are low on confidence. Those recent defeats have obviously knocked them more, perhaps, than we expected it had done.
Well, they drew at Ipswich, having taken the lead, and then they lost at home to Millwall. So 1 point from 2 games. They really should be winning at this stage of the season. There's a back heel on the far side from Cole. Ricochets away off Milosevic and goes behind for a Derby corner.
Well, as average as Derby County have been in this match, they're still in it. There's only 1 goal between these two sides, and the Rams fans in that far corner they know it too, and they're roaring their men on. This game could change in the blink of an eye.
And it's a corner on the far side. Holmes will take it high in towards that near post. Tomori's header, it breaks to Keogh at the far post, and the challenge comes in from Benalouan, and he now leads the breakaway for Forest. He comes in field and plays a good ball into the centre circle, but there's a chance for Lolly to chase, but he was never quite set to receive the pass. Tomori nipped in with a touch, and Derby play it back towards Kelleros.
Yeah, very good recovery from Tomori there, just dashing back from the corner. I think he should have done better with a header from the ball that came into the box. I thought it was a clear one for him, and it didn't get any kind of connection on it, the young centre-half. But Forest are certainly looking to play more on the counter-attack, aren't they, in the second half, now that Derby have got themselves some territory there, finally applying some sustained pressure. We saw none of it in the first period, so it's going to be more of a counter-attack employ from the hosts between now and the final whistle, you suspect.
Well, Pantilimon there received a back pass from Colback, and Wagholm was closing him down, so as a result Pantilimon just hoofed it into the crowd on the far side.
And that's what was happening the other way, wasn't it, in the first period? It was Forest that were getting in the faces of white shirts who were panicking. It's turned around a little bit since half time.
Roy Keane having words with Martin O'Neill. Keane now retreats to the bench, but O'Neill remains standing right on the edge of the technical area, and Lampard and Morris remain ever present there for Derby County.
Yeah, they do. I just wonder what Martin O'Neill's thinking. He's not one for making radical substitutions, Martin. So he'll often make none or just the one. Unlike a lot of modern coaches, they almost feel obliged to get all three subs on. He's not like that, O'Neill.
Well, here is Holmes coming forward now for Derby on this near side. Back towards Wilson, who's been quiet in the second half, and his cross deflects off Watson, but almost falls kindly for Yosefzoon on the far side, the Derby left. It's cleared as far as Johnson, who just lobs it back over the top for Ashley Cole to chase, and it will beat both him and Dariqua into touch for a goal kick.
Yeah, I just looked at Keane and O'Neill. I think there was a little nod and a wink. I think there will be a change shortly. We're looking to introduce a substitute. I don't know who it's going to be. Guediora I can see warming up.
Guediora can maybe calm things down for them in the midfield area.
Yeah, I don't think that's been a problem really. You've got Bonatini, potential match winner, obviously scored a lot of goals early on last season for Wolves. I see Pele's on the bench tonight. He might be useful.
Not that Pele, of course. This one's on loan from Monaco. Now it's given away by Dariqua. Here is Yosefzoon coming forward for Derby, and Yosefzoon was caught late there, but the cross is delivered high into the penalty area towards the far post. The advantage didn't really work there for Derby as the ball eventually bounces away on this near side, and it will be a goal kick. And will the referee go back for that earlier challenge?
I don't think he's going to. Dariqua, the right back for Nottingham Forest, he's not enjoying himself second half. He had a fairly easy ride, didn't he, up until the interval, but the introduction of Yosefzoon, a proper left winger that will run at him at every opportunity, has ruffled him, and he's given the ball away in some bad areas. He got caught in possession several times. I think that Frank Lampard and Jody Morris, the instructions that they're passing on is get the ball out to our left hand side, we can get at Dariqua.
And here is Dariqua now looking to move forward. Guediora will be on shortly. It's given away by Colback. He was challenged by Tomori in the midfield area, wanted the free kick but wasn't given it. Now Wilson comes forward for Derby, and it's a good ball wide towards the left hand side, and Yosefzoon, who can isolate Dariqua, comes in field, but the cross headed away at the near post by Milosevic, and it's Forest's turn to break, and it's a barnstorming run forward here from Lolly. He's only got support from Murphy inside the penalty area, so Lolly had to go for goal wide on the left hand side on his wrong foot, and it's over the top.
No wonder Joe Lolly is a crowd favourite here at the City Ground. He's so wholehearted. He will run his legs off for the cause. He's got great acceleration too. I fancied him there to just go the whole way. It was a 60-yard burst. In the end, he just ran out of puff and tried the speculative shot from range. Goes over.
Ben Watson is coming off, so he hands over the Forest armband to Jack Colback. and Adlan Guardiola will come on, who may be a slightly more languid presence in the midfield area for Forest, but may hold on to the ball a bit better.
I think that's the key point. Guardiola is a good passer. He's a little bit like Huddleston in his penchant for the long switch pass, but I think Forest have lost an element of control in this match. Certainly been less composed second half. I think that substitution has that in mind. Just look after the ball for us, get us on it, and get us up the field with Guardiola. That'll be the message from O'Neill and Keane.
Derby made their final change as well. Mason Bennett comes on for Harry Wilson, who's been on the periphery of the game tonight, and Bennett has his first involvement playing on the right. He delivers a low cross in, which is gathered by Pantilimon.
Well, it always surprises me when Harry Wilson gets subbed, because we've seen his capabilities, and even though
but he's not done it though.
No, he's been anonymous tonight, and you have to judge each player on their merits, but with him he's built up enough credit in the bank, hasn't he, to persuade most managers, and I'm sure Frank Lampard as well, that he's a guy worth keeping on because he can score a goal out of nowhere. Obviously Frank's lost patience with him tonight, Harry. He was very much on the edge of things, didn't really make any contribution of note, so it's all part of his education, his learning curve.
Inside the final 19 minutes on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL. Ian Dante will bring you commentary on Queen's Park Rangers against Leeds tomorrow night. There'll be more cricket, hopefully, weather permitting. The 4th one-day international from 1 o'clock on Wednesday on TalkSport 2. Then it's Super League action with Mark Wilson and the team on Thursday. Salford against St Helens. And we're back in the Sky Bet Championship on Friday. Live from Ellen Road, it is Leeds against West Bromwich Albion.
There's a few tasty games this week. Well, every week really in the Championship. It's business.
Some big games coming up over the next couple of weeks. Of course, Leeds West Brom, the Sheffield Derby live on TalkSport 2 on Monday night. And it's also Leeds against Sheffield United coming up in a couple of weeks as well.
I think are we officially into the business end?
I think the Championship, you're always in the business end, aren't you? Here is Guardiola now with a break into the penalty area. Shot blocked by a diving Keogh, and it's cleared away by Tamori.
Yeah, good block that. Guardiola, instant impact from him, bursting into the box. He's leggy, isn't he? Once he gets his stride up, Guardiola, he can get away from his markers.
Now Colbert just held on to the ball with Ryan Yates making a break there beyond the centre forward, but he had to check back because he knew he was offside. Now Jack Robinson, it's a good run from him, real purpose down the left hand side now, shakes off Marriott, then took on one too many, then goes down as the challenge comes in from Bogle. Derby will clear, but straight back towards Yates once again.
Yeah, nice ebb and flow, isn't there now? Derby have certainly had the better of the second half, but now it's Nottingham Forest's turn to be in the ascendancy. They're the team crunching into tackles, they're the team that are pushing Derby County back. It's almost as if that substitution, Guardiola for Watson, has transformed them.
Well, Derby won 6 games out of 9 before they played Forest at Pride Park. That was a 0-0 draw, and that's been the start of a run of 3 wins in 11 games.
It's not great, is it? It's not.
They do it every season, though.
Yeah, they do. They run out of steam, don't they? But it's a different manager every time.
Now Murphy chasing forward. He shrugs off Tamori, but illegally on the edge of the penalty area. Roy Keane straight into the face of the 4th official straight away. Nothing he can do. It's not his decision, but it's a free kick for Derby.
Yeah, he's got earache, hasn't he? David Webb, the 4th official. Roy Keane in his face. I think it was a foul from Murphy, but maybe in the 70s or 80s that one might have been play on, and not these days.
Well, if Derby lose this game, they'll remain 2 points behind Bristol City, and Forest will only be a point behind them, and their playoff challenge will have been revived. Derby go to Villa on Saturday. Martin O'Neill going back to Villa Park, and then they have 4 successive home games.
Yeah, look, they'll
have to win all 4.
Yeah, their running isn't bad at all, Derby. I looked at the fixtures last week and I thought I fancied them, but
now it's given away on the edge of the area. Bennett challenging Cole back and concedes the free kick 20 yards out.
Yeah, crunching into tackles there. That's what Derby football's all about. We've seen a lot of that tonight. A lot of 50-50s contested. It's been an old-fashioned type of game. I think we all expected that.
29,421 is the crowd inside the City ground.
It's crackling, isn't it? The atmosphere, absolutely to picture tonight, and pretty noisy as well.
Not quite the biggest of the season. They got around 100 more when they played Leeds here and beat Leeds decisively on New Year's Day as Waghorn leapt for a ball in the air and has fallen awkwardly. I think he may be winded or possibly even a shoulder injury there as he took a ride on Colback, and Derby have the free kick.
Down on his haunches. I think he'll be fine. Doesn't want treatment, I don't think. One of those where you just got to pick yourself up, take a deep breath and get on with it. That's what I like to see. Martin Waghorn. I feel sorry for him. He's been stuck out in the right wing for most of this game. It's not his strong suit. He wears the number 9. I think he wears that for a reason. He's more of a centre forward.
Waghorn now plays it inside towards Bennett, who of course made his Derby debut at the age of 15. Now a long ball played forward by Bradley Johnson, and really accentuating the point you made in the first half. It was a ball right down the centre and the goalkeeper 6'8".
It's brainless, it really is. Pantilimon is a giant, and the message has to be from Lampard and Morris: do not clip high balls into the box, because the goalkeeper will come out and claim every single one of them, and they've done so many of them tonight. They must be into double figures for high balls hoisted into the area. Complete waste of time.
Well, the Forest crowd are singing "The Rams are falling apart again," and it has been a consistent theme in recent years that Derby get themselves into a decent position and then fall away. They've had 3 playoff failures in 5 seasons, including that defeat to Fulham in the semi-finals last year when they were leading 1-0 from the first leg, and 0-0 at half-time at Craven Cottage before losing out. They just run out of steam, and is it a mental thing?
I think maybe. I think if everyone keeps telling them don't run out of steam in the second half of the season, sometimes that can have an effect, can't it? It can get into your head. I don't know. I think different managers as well. It's hard to explain. I think Gary Rowett was a bit cautious last year in the playoff. I think he didn't attack that semi-final in a way of trying to win it. I think he was too protectionist. I think Lampard would be more positive if Derby were to get there, but that's hanging in the balance, isn't it?
It's a big if at the moment. 12 and a half minutes to play here, and they still trail by a 1-0 on TalkSport 2 as Bradley Johnson plays it square towards Holmes again. He checks back onto his left foot, high cross to the far post. Ariqua heads away as far as Yosefzoon, providing the width now down the left-hand side. He will try and take on Lolly. It's a good-looking cross into the area, headed away by Milosevic at the near post, returned by Holmes. It's a real loopy sort of header, and the flag's up for offside.
Backs to the wall, rearguard effort there from Nottingham Forest. Good period of sustained pressure. It's something we just didn't see at all in the first half. Cannot really remember anything like that happening. No passage of play like it, where Derby pinned Nottingham Forest deep inside their own box. They're asking questions now, these 2 centre-halves, these 2 new centre-halves. Ben Lawan, who scored, and Milosevic, of course, who's come in. Robinson and Derica aren't new, of course, but it's a new back 4 in the last month or so, and I have to say they've held firm pretty well tonight.
Forest go to Stoke, another Midlands derby coming up for them on Saturday. Of course, Stoke are right out of form.
Yeah,
and that's a game they'll look to win as well.
Definitely, yeah. They got a 0-0 draw, didn't they, at Preston? Preston, one of the most informed teams in the Championship, and they were unlucky. I think they had a perfectly good goal chalked off, didn't they, Forest?
Should have beaten West Brom. They were done by the dive, weren't they?
Yeah, so look, even though we said ahead of kick-off it's been an average start by O'Neill, I think there are clear signs of improvement. The desire and purpose of his players tonight and the organisation has been there for all to see. It's been really, really good.
This will be 3 successive home wins as well. His previous successes against Wigan and Brentford here. Now a long ball is swung forward by Yates, and it's too long. Almost like a rugby union player there, kicking for touch on the far side, but it's gone out for a goal kick. Yeah,
and that Brentford victory is looking better and better by the week. Brentford are one of the form teams in the Championship, right at the top of the form table. Spanked Hull, didn't they, at the weekend? So it's turning into a pretty decent run, certainly a respectable run of form for Nottingham Forest, the kind that looks like it might be the platform for a playoff push.
And they're running, on the face of it, and the Championship is always a very dangerous thing to say, doesn't look too bad. Contrast that with Bristol City, who seem to have a very difficult run.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that. So yeah, maybe Forest, certainly Preston are making a late charge for it under Alex Neil. Very, very impressive. But on the basis of what we've seen tonight, Forest have got the bit between their teeth, and it'll be a handful for anybody playing in this manner. But haven't created much in the second half, have they? I still feel that they lack a bit of guile. They have João Carvalho on the bench. He scored an absolute corker the last time I was here against Sheffield Wednesday. He's got a bit of magic in his boots. He's someone they might turn to.
It's just getting a bit tense around the City ground here, with Forest holding on to their 1-0 lead. 9.5 minutes to play on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL. Lolly coming forward again, stabs in a cross, and the acrobatic overhead kick from Guediora. It was miles wide, but it looked great.
Well, it might look great from the opposite side.
Yeah.
It was way off, wasn't it? But it was a spectacular jump. Yeah, I can't do that anymore, unfortunately. I wish I could. That was very athletic from Guediora, who does have the sort of nose for the spectacular. I remember I was commentating at the Emirates when Watford beat Arsenal. I think it was in the FA Cup. It was an absolute rocket shot. He does have that in his armoury.
Bogle coming forward now. Was he clipped? He was. He was caught by Colback 20 yards out. This would be in ideal territory for Harry Wilson, but he's off.
I was thinking exactly the same thing.
Colback is booked.
Yeah, but this is a good chance. Now, if I'm over this, all I'm thinking about is the shot. Everyone's come forward for the cross. It's one of those is betwixt and between. It could be a cross, it could be a shot. But the way that Martin Waghorn is placing the ball down on the floor here, I think he's only got one thing on his mind. He wants to whip this over the wall into the top corner.
8 minutes to play. Forest lead by a 1-0, but it's a free kick for Derby. 22 yards out, left of centre. Holmes and Waghorn are over it, but it's Martin Waghorn who will fancy this one. Mason Bennett is on the end of the wall to try and give him maybe an angle. It's Waghorn who curls it, and Pantilimon didn't even have to move to gather above his head.
Straightforward catch, wasn't it, for Pantilimon? Not enough movement on the ball, not enough pace on the strike from Waghorn. Technically it was okay, it was a half decent effort, 7 out of 10, but never looked like beating the keeper.
Now Holmes again tries to feed Yusuf Zun on the far side, but only picks out Darikwa. And Darikwa, challenged by Waghorn, now plays a long ball downfield, and Tamori acknowledges the presence of Daryl Murphy and plays it back towards Roos. And now Keogh will bring the ball forward, and Forest are not engaging possession at all now when Derby bring the ball all the way up towards the halfway line. And the home crowd respond to get behind their team and try and will them over the line here at the City ground. Forest have led since the second minute, but it's now looking a very tenuous lead.
It is, yeah. They're getting deeper and deeper, Nottingham Forest. Derby beginning to believe they might have what it takes to pinch a goal here. But Nottingham Forest, they're looking a bit tired, a bit weary. Bonatini's about to enter the fray.
The man on loan from Wolves had a great start in the Championship last season. 13 goals in the first half of the season, but he's not scored a league goal since December 2017.
Yeah, his form has fallen off a cliff, hasn't it, there, Bonatini? But he hasn't got long to impress here, but he can make a name for himself by coming on and sealing a famous win for Forest. Daryl Murphy is trudging off. He's absolutely knackered, but he's getting a tremendous ovation, and he deserves it because he's run himself into the ground.
And Murphy set up the opening goal, the only goal so far, and he's done his job, and Bonatini comes on. And Murphy gets a pat on the back from Martin O'Neill as he makes his way towards the Forest bench, and Roy Keane also has some words of thanks as well.
Yeah, that was a selfless display. He had that one chance and it was a loose touch and he'll be kicking himself for it, but in terms of his general centre forward play, the management team couldn't ask for any more from him.
Holmes finding Bennett now for Derby. Yousafzai in the central area, plays it wide to the right, and there's an opportunity here for Marriott to cut it back, and the goal scorer Banilouan was in the way. Now Keogh on halfway will evade Bonatini as Derby look to push on here, but they are running out of time to take anything from this East Midlands derby on TalkSport 2. Inside the final 5 minutes, Forest still leading 1-0, and it's another good clearance from Banilouan on the far side. And now a long ball forward from Lolly looking for Bonatini, but he showed no interest in chasing that as it's straight out of play.
Yeah, they've got no out ball at the moment. They're going to need Bonatini to chase everything, to try and get his foot on it and to hold it and bring others into play. At the moment it's become a bit of an attack v defence, but Forest pinch it.
Bonatini cut out the ball from Cole, and then Guediora went down looking for the free kick, and he's conceded one himself for handball.
Strange. Yeah, I thought he was fouled. Clearly not. But yeah, what do Derby do here? They're certainly piling players forward. 4 up top, 5 up top at the moment. But this Nottingham Forest defence has held firm. I've been impressed by the 2 centre-halves, Milosevic and Banilouan.
Now Holmes slides a good-looking ball wide to the far side. Yousafzai with the first-time ball into the penalty area, looking for Marriott, but Milosevic again, who has not missed anything, clears the ball away for Forest.
Yeah, his positioning has been first class tonight, Milosevic, and it looks like they're building up a decent understanding, those two. I did think that centre-half was a slight weak link for Forest earlier on in the season.
Well, they've had good ball players in the past, but not the sort of players who you really feel impose themselves on the opposition.
They had a great pro in Michael Dawson earlier on in the season as well, but he's got fallibilities at this stage of his career. These two, they're big, but they're good footballers as well.
3 minutes to play, a long throw into the penalty area, headed away by Deriqua, who was fouled, and it will be a free kick for Nottingham Forest. Forest 1, Derby 0 on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL. Queen's Park Rangers Leeds coming up tomorrow night. Leeds looking to go back on top of the table above Norwich and Sheffield United. I saw Sheffield United win at West Bromwich Albion on Saturday, and they were very, very good.
Yeah, I watched that game as well. Yeah, they're not going anywhere, Sheffield United. They're going to be there or thereabouts.
It's fallen apart by this stage last season, but I think the recruitment has been spot on in January.
And they've got 4 strikers to choose from now, so they can freshen up their attack whenever they like.
Keogh with a long ball forward, and again, it's a straight ball into the arms of Pantilimon.
Frank Lampard, he must be exasperated. He's basically spent the entire match walking up and down, pacing his technical area with his hands in his pocket, looking thoroughly peeved, hasn't he, Frank Lampard? He's not happy at all.
He's chipping away at the 4th official, I think, to take out or try and mask his own frustrations about his team's inadequacies.
Yeah, he's smarting. I think he's fed up with his players. He's not happy. Look, they've been better second half, and that's a positive to take, but
they've lacked any guile at key times.
No, yeah, exactly. His key men have not turned up tonight. Wilson was average. Huddleston had a bit of a nightmare first half.
And we have less than 90 seconds to play. Forest holding on to their 1-0 lead here, and they'll get their hands on the Brian Clough Trophy once again, but in terms of the league table, they'll be 3 points behind Bristol City. Now Holmes back again towards Tomori, and Bradley Johnson is the out ball for Derby on the far side, further wide towards Cole, who was heading for 3 successive defeats as a Derby County player. Now Holmes again, looking to twist and turn on this near side, but Osborne is not giving him up. Osborne, though, lunges in, doesn't get the ball. Holmes went to the byline, now delivers a cross into the penalty area. Pantilimon punches away, takes out Guediora, and the volley from Johnson is over the top.
Excellent wing play from Holmes. Squares twisting and turning, never gave up, really, really persistent. He dug out a good cross. It wasn't dealt with brilliantly by Pantilimon, and from that punch, Johnson just looks to guide it on the volley into the empty net, but he gets underneath it and it's well behind, and the Forest fans are not giving the ball back, Nigel.
So an extra ball has been thrown on, and inevitably the ball will be returned for the Bridgeford end.
There you go.
As soon as...
Right on cue.
But they're wasting their own team's time.
Yeah, they are. I'll tell you the one player they've really missed tonight, and probably in recent games, even though he wasn't in top form before his injury, and that's Mason Mount. That guile that you mentioned, that capability to produce the defence splitting pass or the moment of magic, they've not had that from any of their midfielders this evening, Derby, and for that reason the forwards have fed off scraps.
5 minutes of added time at the end of this game. That may offer Derby a scrap of hope here. Long downfield from Roos. 1-1 in the air by Benalouan, and then just a long ball forward again, straight into the arms of the Derby goalkeeper, who quickly bowls it out and will come outside its penalty area to try and clear long downfield as the Rams look to prize a point from this game. Bradley Johnson challenged though quickly by Bonatini, and Lolly is still full of running on the far side, and he's got Ashley Cole backpedaling. Yosefsoon has a nibble, he can't make the challenge, and then the ball is played in towards Bonatini, who on the stretch was just unable to get the shot on goal. And I think there the Forest crowd and the Forest team, the Forest bench, were saying, where's the free kick?
Yeah, well we can't see a replay. Are they appealing for a foul on Bonatini in the box, or for the foul on Lolly?
I think Lolly, because the assistant had his flag up.
They played on, and the ball was a really good one into the danger zone, and he was a whisker away from scoring.
Now a chance at the other end, but it's Benalouan who rises to head the ball clear. He then comes into the fullback area and knocks it down the line for Bonatini to chase, and Bradley Johnson will have to go back towards his goalkeeper.
Well, everyone's up front now for Derby. Richard Keogh's gone up top. It's basically 7 up top for Derby at the moment. Incredible.
And the ball forward is short, and Tamori is penalised for a push on Yates, and Yates turns to the crowd and asks for more noise as we head into the 3rd minute of added time, and Keogh, epitomising Derby's frustrations, gives a mouthful to the referee.
Yeah, but they've got probably a couple more attacks now to try and soak up Nottingham Forest. They're going to go a bit defensive here, bringing on Big Wagge just to combat the all-out attack from Derby.
Well, Wagwe will come on for Ben Osborne. And Osborne again has done what he always does for Forest.
He's a real team player, and he's got skill and quality, but above all else he grafts. It's Ben Osborne, and the locals appreciate that. Great noise inside the City ground tonight. Supporters are tense, they're edgy, but they're loving the scoreline.
And this will add on a few extra seconds. We're into the 94th minute here. The free kick from Pantilimon, aimed for Bonatini, and it's headed away as a firework goes off somewhere inside the City ground. And now a free kick is given for a challenge on Benalouan on this near side, and the man who may go down as the match winner in this game is taking his time to get up.
Yeah, the man with the mask, Benalouan, he's had a really solid performance. He's been terrific for Nottingham Forest at the heart of their defence. First half, he could have played in his slippers. Derby offered nothing, but in this second period he stepped up to the plate, he's headed everything away, he's cleared his lines, and both he and Milosevic have been very, very resilient.
A number of Forest fans now whirling their red and white scarves above their heads. And the Trent end is a riot of colour away to our left-hand side as Derby have to build once again deep inside their own half. We're into the final minute of the minimum of 5 added minutes as Roos clears long downfield. Benalouan will rise to head the ball clear, and it drops to Lolly in a central area. He will try and take on Tamori and draw the free kick, and he's done so, and that's very intelligent play from Joe Lolly, and the ball is bumped into the ground in frustration action by Tamori. That will earn him a yellow card, and Forest a free kick to try and see this game out.
He's got to be one of the best ball carriers in the Championship, Joe Lolly. He's got great pace with the ball at his feet, and he just charges at defenders. That was excellent. It really was, because it forced the foul. And these supporters swirling their scarves. It's like the old days here in the City Ground. They're loving it.
Well, Martin O'Neill on the verge of victory as a manager in the East Midlands derby, and this is very odd because it's a Forest free kick 20 yards out, and they have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players lined up on the halfway line.
Right, you've got to have a shot surely, but it's no disaster if this goes up a tier.
It's Lolly who strikes it, and it's into the wall. It's blocked by Johnson. Lolly then plays it wide to the far side of Bonatini, and it's jabbed down the line for Guediora, who will just head towards the corner flag on the far side and try and stay there for the remainder of the game. And Guediora now in a wrestling match with Tamori. The ball still in play, and it's gone out of play for a Forest throw-in, and that may be enough.
Yeah, really smart game management from Guediora. And yeah, you just get that feeling now, the job's done. Nottingham Forest have finally got one over on their neighbours.
The City Ground in a ferment here as Forest try to occupy more space and time by the corner flag, and they've done so to win a throw-in as the full-time whistle goes, and Nottingham Forest wait for a victory over their oldest rivals is finally over. Ryan Yates is quickly involved with Martin Waghorn, and there is acrimony right at the end of this game. Waghorn pointing and gesticulating towards Ryan Yates, and players from both sides end this game at each other's throats as the Forest fans celebrate. Stewards are heading across to the far side to try and sort this out, and yet again a local derby ends with scenes of passion which may have overstepped the mark, but Nottingham Forest will be more concerned about the result. They are 3 points away from the playoff zone, and for Derby County it is back-to-back defeats at just the wrong time of the season. Yet again, Derby players are being pulled away from their Forest counterparts. There are battles at the moment, verbal battles being fought all over the pitch. Jack Robinson is also being pulled away from Richard Keogh, and the match has ended in scenes which will not be appreciated by the EFL as a red flare is thrown onto the playing surface as well. And I think some of the enthusiasm from some of the Forest players may have got the better of themselves as the Derby players go towards their supporters away to the right. They've offered very little, Derby County, in the match tonight, and they deserve to lose this game.
Yeah, the fans are utterly delirious around us. Nottingham Forest thrilled with that victory, and it's a much deserved victory as well. Derby County, they're more fired up after the final whistle than they were during the 90 minutes. Frank Lampard wouldn't have minded seeing a bit of that aggression during general play. Forest wanted it more tonight. It is as simple as that. They were better organised, the pattern of play was better, and when you mix the hunger with the resilience, with the skill as well that they've got in forward areas, you've got half a team here. Nottingham Forest appear to be going places under Martin O'Neill.
Well, Martin O'Neill has his first win in the East Midlands derby as a Forest manager at the City Ground, and is finished Nottingham Forest 1, Derby County 0.